Hello, and everyone. Welcome back to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum. It's like a dream. Yum, 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 yum. Bring your sour cream.
Woo! Yes, sirree, Bob. Yes, sirree, Bob. It is Taco Tuesday, bruh.
It is.
It is. It is. Have we partaken of our usual tacos yet?
We have had some tacos. Some trailer tacos, street tacos. Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. I believe we're going to be having chicken tacos tonight, but we shall see. Last night, my daughter surprised me and made shepherd's pie.
Oh, did you have shepherd's pie while we were in Vegas? Didn't you grab it somewhere?
I did, and I have to say that while it was okay, I was highly disappointed just because it was in it was a little itty bitty thing and a little itty bitty dish, and I was like, no,
That's right.
she made me a big old thing. Yeah,
that's right. You had a little tiny helping of it. It was like an appetizer portion.
I know you should never still be hungry after eating shepherd's pie.
Or in Vegas, you should never be hungry after eating.
You shouldn't. I was a little disappointed. While everything else about this is, by the way, this was at the Tilted Kilt. While everything else there was spot on, it was the serving size. It tasted good, but when I was done, I was still hungry.
The best 45-minute service anywhere.
45 minutes, and that was once you finally got a table.
Yeah.
Well, in their defense, we picked probably exactly the wrong time to go there. Like right after SHOT Show closed, it's like everyone at the same time, everyone went back to their room, dropped their stuff off, and went to eat.
That's true. You guys had a hankering for it. We walked in there, and I'm like, okay, while you guys are waiting, I'm going to go get another meal. Then I'm going to come back. Then I'm going to have a drink. Then I'm going to come back. Then you guys still hadn't eaten. Like the third time I'd gone and come back, you still didn't have your food yet.
Yeah, that is the truth. He is not lying. He is not lying at all. But we got her done. We got her done eventually. We finally got her done. But lots of good. If there's one thing about Vegas is there's lots of actually really great places to eat. Very diverse food, all relatively close, and a lot of it's also pretty reasonable.
Yeah, well, I don't know where you were getting reasonable. Maybe it was when you're getting your little tiny shepherd's pie, but they the days where Vegas was affordable and you could go there with $100 in your pocket and eat for the whole week. Yeah. That's over.
That's over. No, that's over.
It's $100 a meal now. It's $100 a meal. It's listen, we had breakfast for $35-$40. Okay.
Yeah, if you get away from the Strip, it gets a little more affordable. The Strip, there's no way it's
a little bit, but still not much. Still not. Still like nothing you can get in your hometown.
Yeah. No, true. Okay. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But anyway, maybe it's because I wasn't feeding a whole family. Maybe that's the difference.
That's the difference. Yeah. You're like, look, I only spent $100 instead of $150. Yeah, we only fed one instead of five. That's
true that. Okay, good point. But good time was had by all, and now that we're back here and we're talking about the news, let's jump right into it and start off the way we usually do with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, get yourself some AR barrels. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire, plus additional rifle and handgun barrels as well. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. It's all one word, no spaces, all caps, and get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit their website. Go there. Check them out. Spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Well, as you guys also like to know, we like to travel. We like to go. We like to do things and be at various different events. And like to encourage you all to visit as well. Well, there's a big event that is coming up in Florida. It's taking place actually in Summerfield, Florida. It's the 9th annual 2A Freedom Festival. It's taking place on February 21st. Once again, in Summerfield, Florida. They're at Runaway Campers. Now, here's the deal, folks. It's an event where you're going to have speakers coming from all over the country to talk about the Second Amendment. These are people who are working in media, people who are working in politics, people who are working in courts, people who are working in business and in the industry. Experts all are going to be there speaking. And just to give you an idea of who some of the folks are that are going to be there, you're going to have David Katz of the firearm firm, some guy named Craig DeLuz. I don't know about him. Also of the firearms firm, you're going to have James Phillips. You're going to have Jared Turner. You're going to have Patrick Collins, who you guys know is from the Gun Food. You're going to have Amanda Suffolk, Eye on the Target Radio, and by the way, happens to be a board member for the NRA. The Tom Knighton, who we've had on this program before, and as you know, that guy Mikey P. We know he's a bit of a degenerate, but he knows a little thing about guns, gun rights, and all of that stuff. So we're going to let him have a few words as well. Anyway, folks, it's a really, really fun event. If you can be in town, if you can be there, you need to be there. It's a completely free event unless you decide you're going to camp. Now, people camp Friday night and Saturday night. I think it's like $55 if you want to camp. And that, I think that includes access to the facilities as well as food. But yeah, you definitely want to check it out. If you can be there, I'll be there. Mike will be there. I believe Lion Arms will be there as well.
They should be. We should have a good time. Should be a good time.
Yeah, it should definitely be a good time. So if you can make it out, come on out. Would love to hang out with you. Would love to fellowship, chop it up, all that fun stuff. Also, if you're watching this program live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, know that we're taking your comments. Would love to hear what you think about today's program or just the program in general. Give us a shout out as to where you're coming from. And by the way, if we're talking on topic, you know what? You don't have to agree with us. In fact, we encourage you to disagree with us because that gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
Yeah. Give us the opportunity to mock you.
Mock you. Mock you.
Let's see here. We have Mark Hoffman who's watching us on Facebook. He's actually interested. He's like, I guess he normally tunes in, but he was able to actually catch us at the very beginning today. So, Mark, thank you so much for tuning in. We very much appreciate you. We'd love to hear your comments as we go through today's news stories. All right, let's get into the first one. And this one, a lot of people don't realize how bad it really is out there when it comes to the level of violence that many of the folks in ICE are having to deal with. It's not just the stuff that you're seeing there regular, the stuff that you see there, like the smoke bombs or the throwing of the frozen water bottles, or the people being right in their ear, screaming at them and blowing whistles right in their ear. It's not just that. You've got people doing and saying all sorts of kinds of things. And to make it worse, there was a TikTok video that, a TikTok personality. She is a nurse. She's an anti-ICE nurse who decided that she wanted to put out some advice for people who wanted to find a way to sabotage ICE agents. And you're going to be a little shocked at some of the suggestions that she's had.
I thought of something good. I think it's something weird spot. Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. have them full of saline or succinylcholine, you know, whatever. That will probably be a deterrent. Be safe. Okay, for today's resistance tip, I vote, anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it in some water, like a gallon of water. Get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm gonna put it into a water gun. Aim for faces, hands. All right, the single ladies where these ICE guys are going have a chance to do something, you know, not without risk, but could help the cause for sure. Get on Tinder, get on Hinge, find these guys. They're around. They're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. You know, nobody's gonna die. Just enough to incapacitate them, get them off the street for the next day. Highly easily deniable. You know, you could get sick too. Won't eat there.
Anyway, maybe it's just me, but it sounds like what she's talking about is basically poisoning ICE agents in order to keep them from being able to do their jobs. Well, it turns out that this anti-ICE nurse actually, well, they found out where she works. It says here, Virginia Commonwealth University, or VCU, Health, and the VCU police are investigating after a nurse at their hospital made a series of videos about fighting back against federal law enforcement. Quote, "We prioritize the health and safety of anyone who comes to us for care. We are aware of a series of videos that appear to have been posted by an individual confirmed to be an employee of our health system," VCU told Fox News Digital in a statement. The content of the video is highly inappropriate and does not reflect the integrity or values of our health system. VCU police are assisting with this investigation, the university continued. Per policy, while the investigation is underway, the individual is on administrative leave and will not be in our facilities interacting with patients. Well, that is good to know. And once again, here's the thing, folks. If you want to encourage people to protest and do so lawfully and peacefully, I don't, fine. That you can do that. But when you start getting into encouraging people to, and this is literally poisoning. You're talking about poisoning federal agents. I gotta believe, if not a crime, it's at least it's probably even a felony.
Yeah, Craig. And if it happens to even one person, then she should be going to jail for it, for operating a criminal enterprise, for having directed people to do it. That would be great to see. Again, they think they could do the FA part without the FO part, Craig, and that's what's going on. Another one happened this week in Florida. A nurse down here made some comments about Caroline Leavitt being pregnant, the White House press secretary, and described the pain and death that she wanted to come to them. And within a day, she was terminated from her hospital down here, and the state attorney general is pulling her license to be a nurse.
Well, I think part of the challenge is that a lot of these people, they in particular, so most of these folks tend to be, once again, liberals. They're probably gone to college, and in college they're being encouraged. Yeah, they're being encouraged or supported. They're being told, look, you have not just a right, but a responsibility to protest. And they're being allowed on a lot of these campuses to protest with absolutely no consequences. So when they get out into the real world, they don't realize that, civil disobedience comes with a price. Like back in the day, the civil rights protesters, they dealt with, fire hoses, and they dealt with dogs, and they got arrested. In some cases, they didn't make it home. And I'm not saying that is an appropriate way to handle these folks. But what I am saying is that when you stand up, there's going to be a cost. And especially when you are going to break the law and advocate for, encourage, or engage in violent behavior or behavior that is so disruptive that you are preventing law enforcement from doing their job, there's going to be consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I mean, I think it's the upbringing with the internet for them, Craig. You know, the internet's a make believe world. I can get on a game and create a new profile, a new name, and do whatever I want. So they think they can turn around and go on TikTok or Facebook or wherever and do the same thing, and there'd be no repercussions because it's not the real world. Well, guess what? It is, and you're really without a job right now, and you may end up in jail.
Yep, and it just be like that. I don't know
Yep.
what to tell you. I don't know what to
Yep.
tell you at all, except it just also though goes to show you that we really. I will say this: one of the things that the internet has exposed, it has exposed that we have some very, very creative people out there. There are people who I've seen some of the funniest, some of the most entertaining and inspiring stuff that I probably would have never seen had it not been for social media. At the same time, it also lets you know that there are a lot of people out there that are batshit crazy, that are violent, that are unhinged, and because their reach can now be so far, even though they're very, very few as a percentage of the population, they think there are a lot of them because they all kind of collate together in a certain section of the internet, and they don't think the rest of us see them.
Yeah, and we do, and we do. And like I said, they want to put the FA part on. We'll give them the FO part.
There you go. That is, in fact, pretty much how that works. And when I talk about that, this is a great example. This is an article out of from the Washington Free Beacon, and it's talking about how basically a taxpayer funded organization is teaching our kids, all sorts of radical left wing stuff, and basically how to be nonconformist, how to quote unquote fight the man. Here it says, government-funded activist group teaches kids U.S. is occupied territory and offers tips on dealing with climate change emotions. The federal government is pouring millions of dollars each year into an environmental activist group that teaches children that the United States exists on occupied, unceded, seized territory and offers tips on how to deal with climate change emotions, according to public spending records. The National Environmental Education Foundation, NEEF, a congressionally chartered nonprofit organization, receives annual government funding and has its board of directors appointed by the Environmental Protection Agency. It is also tasked with organizing the National Public Lands Day, a celebration the president proclaims each year. NEEF published, quote, a guide to indigenous land acknowledgement for participants to use during those National Public Land Day events, recommending that hosts begin with a statement declaring that local native groups are the traditional inhabitants of the land that they are on. Now, Mike, what's funny about this once again is this is a clear political statement. And number two, it is a very anti-American political statement that is being funded, that was being funded with taxpayer dollars with an organization that was created by the Congress of the United States of America. What the hell?
Yeah, again, this is more of the monies that Doge spent time getting rid of. That's where this comes from. Whether or not this one made it through the snuck through the cracks and didn't get wiped out, or whether they're just using last year's the last batch of funding. We'll find that out soon, I'm sure. Greg, listen, I consider myself a pretty worldly guy. What the hell is a climate change emotion?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. So let me pull the little wheelie thing here, and I'll pull it back up. So these are the climate emotions. So in other words, these are emotions and how you feel about the climate. So notice, there's 4 quadrants, right? Do you notice only one of them is positive, right? One out of all of them is good. So there's you're interested in the environment, or you feel like you're empowered by talking about the environment, or inspiration or empathy or gratitude or hope, right? Because maybe we're heading the right direction on climate change, but we're never really headed that direction. So in comes fear because you're overwhelmed, panic, you're powerless, anxiety, worry. In other words, you're a little wuss. And then brings sadness, despair, loneliness, loss, desperation, or depression, I'm sorry, grief, shame, and guilt. And then finally, anger, where you have indignation, outrage, frustration, betrayal, disappointment. And yeah, so it's basically all about telling you how bad the world is because, well, climate change. No?
What? What?
Yeah, exactly.
This is just about climate change. Listen, Craig,
Well,
they had a cure for this when you and I were younger,
mhm.
and that was, you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to
Give me
cry
something to
about.
cry about. There you go. Pretty much.
It's-
I,
yeah.
I don't know. This generation, I don't know what to say about them, but this is the sort of stuff that they're learning. But this is the hard part. When this is what they're learning in school, if you're not, I will say this: you can send your kid to a school where they're teaching this, and they can be just fine. But if you're not teaching them the exact opposite at home, if you are not imbuing in them, instilling in them the values that they need to combat crap like that, well, then you're setting them up for failure. I'm serious. You got to know that this stuff is going on. Know that it's going on and take active steps to address it.
This is
Just saying.
unbelievable. That's just, I got to go out and dig up some more FO now to give these people. You know.
Yes, because they definitely need to FO. By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of FOing, Mr. Waltz has found out. You might recall just the other day he was out talking about how, you know, that he was basically comparing what is going on now in Minneapolis, Minnesota to Anne Frank, to the Holocaust and what happened to Anne Frank, and how, you know, people are scared to go out in the streets. And he says somebody is going to write that book, write the book about the experience like Anne Frank, only, you know, what's going on right now. Well, the folks over at the Holocaust Museum did not take very kindly to his words. In fact, the headline reads here: Holocaust Museum torches Tim Walz for comparing Minnesota migrants to Anne Frank in Nazi Germany. It says here, in a post on X, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum pointed out that Anne Frank had been, quote, targeted and murdered solely because she was Jewish. The museum's post came a day after Walz held a press conference and called for President Donald Trump to pull back ICE and Border Patrol agents from the state. During his press conference on Sunday, Walz went on to state, quote, allow our children back to school, to go back to school. We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading the story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. Quote, Anne Frank was targeted and murdered solely because she was Jewish, the museum wrote. Leaders making false equivalencies to her experience for political purposes is never acceptable. Despite tensions in Minnesota, exploiting the Holocaust is deeply offensive, especially as anti-Semitism surges. And they're right, because I think making less of the Holocaust is as bad as ignoring the Holocaust. In fact, it's worse.
Listen, and Tim Walz, I'm just going to make an assumption here that, you know, Walz being a German name and, you know, Tim Walz being a German person probably has very little belief in the Holocaust. That's what this sounds like here. He sees, you know, comparing it to basically nothing. Isn't it amazing, though, Craig, that they're worried about the week that the kids have been out of school now, but not the 2 years they denied them to go to school during COVID? You know, that doesn't seem to be an issue to them. And again, now all of a sudden Tim Walz has a problem with the ICE agents wearing masks, but when he forced everybody else in the state to wear masks for 2 years, it wasn't a big deal then. That's weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was one thing. It's kind of funny how they seem to really like enjoy masks and were really down with the idea of masks when it was their idea, when they were the ones controlling it. But when it's someone else wearing a mask, all of a sudden they're not too supportive of that idea. Funny, huh? Yeah. Anyway, you gotta wonder. The hypocrisy abounds.
Yeah.
It really does. It really does. All right, our next story here says Florida AG is investigating the city of Jacksonville. And let's find it here. Boom. Okay. So they're investigating Jacksonville because they're keeping a list of gun owners who actually carry at City Hall. This being reported by Cam Edwards over at Bearing Arms. It says here, since 2004, the state of Florida has made it illegal for any government official or agency to knowingly and willfully keep or cause to be kept any list, record, or registry of privately owned firearms or any list, record, or registry of owners of firearms. Despite that, the city of Jacksonville kept a registry of anyone who entered City Hall while exercising their right to keep and bear, or exercise the right to bear arms. From July 2023 to April 2025, the city stopped entering names of gun owners into its registry after complaints were made. The state attorney, Melissa Nelson, launched an investigation into the practice. Nelson ultimately concluded that no criminal charges were warranted, finding that the list was created by a public works manager, quote, because he wanted data about how many people carried firearms into city buildings, believing it would improve preparedness in case of an emergency, not realizing it created a legal problem, end quote. While he might not have realized that he still knowingly and willfully kept a registry of gun owners, which is a clear violation of state statute. Now, the Florida Attorney General James, how do you pronounce that man? Utmeyer, okay. Utmeyer has launched an investigation of his own, which could lead to a civil lawsuit against the city. I'm not buying the excuse that dude gave.
So I've seen this happen in a couple different jurisdictions down here. When the law changed, you couldn't carry a firearm into City Hall. Listen, you still can't carry it into an active board meeting or a City Hall meeting kind of thing. But Craig, I'm sure it's the same way where you are. The City Hall includes where the boards are held and where you get your business licenses and where you get your tax paperwork and where you apply for registrations. It's all in the same building. So they had to come up with a plan to keep people from going into the board meetings, an active board meeting with firearms, but they would just post an officer there and they'd do the check before they came in. So at the beginning, at the front of City Hall, they wanted to know who had the firearms to make sure they didn't wander into the wrong place, right?
Okay.
So you come through, they still have which is odd. Yeah, I know. They still have the metal detectors. They check to see if you have the firearm because that's what they've always done. They've always checked to see if anybody had firearms. And when you do, they say, oh, come over here. We just put your name on the list and it's okay to have your firearm here. We just want to know who has them. Well, and if they took that list, Craig, and they threw it away at the end of the day, it'd be the end of the problem because once they leave, you take them off the list. But because they've created a government document, they felt they had to keep it. Okay.
Right.
And when they had these documents that they kept, rather than stick them all in a file, they gave somebody the job of putting them into a spreadsheet and keeping them forever, which created a de facto registration list of those that have firearms in that city or in that county. Now, many of them, they went to them and said, you can't do that. And they went, but we keep it with the guy that drops off the bottled water. They're like, yeah, well, yeah, there's not a special law that says you can have bottled water. Right. So many places it was fixed. I think the problem here in Jacksonville is this guy doubled down on stupid and came up with an excuse to try and say why he did it. Rather than say, I'm sorry, my $12 an hour security guard thought it was the right thing to do. We've since counseled him. I think that would have been the end of it. Yeah, and we've deleted all the records. They're gone. My apologies. It'll never happen again. And said he tried to come up with some bureaucratic reason why they did it to justify it. And now he's facing the wrath of Attorney General Utmeyer.
Well, there you go. Sorry, dude. All right. Hey, I had a couple of comments. First of all, American Crossfire checked in. Good to see you. Mark Hoffman says the same could be said probably of every country Earth conquered, colonized, yada, yada, yada. He's referring to the teaching the kids about occupied territory. He says, oh, climate change. In my lifespan, over 75 years, all the experts predicted have shown to be false prophecies, and that really is true. See, it started off as global cooling, then it turned into global
Age.
warming. Yeah, the ice
It's the
age was
next
coming.
ice age. Remember,
Right.
you and I were in middle school or junior high, and they were telling us all about the next ice age that was coming.
Yes, they were. And then from there, they went to global warming, which is basically, we're all gonna cook, we're all gonna drown because the polar ice caps are gonna melt, and we're all gonna wind up in like water world. And then when it started getting warmer again and colder and warmer, they said, you know what? Let's just fix this. We're gonna call it climate change. So no matter what happened, if the weather changed, they could blame it on that.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, interesting stuff to say. Interesting stuff to say the least. But tis what it is. Thank you, gentlemen, for chiming in. That now takes us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, this first one here, we were talking about the dangers of FAing and how you're going to FO. Well, this one right here, well, let's just say that it speaks. This is FAFO at an extreme.
You want to see what fuck around and find out really looks like? Watch this. And that is where you fucked around, you found out, and now you're in the shit.
That's from our friends down under. Now, for those of you who are just listening to the program, Mike, you want to give a play-by-play on that one?
Oh, you want me to give the play-by-play? Okay.
Yes. I think you can more creatively describe it.
A cheetah. I think that was a cheetah.
It looked like a cheetah.
Is running down was that a hippo? I think
That
it
was a hippo. That was a hippo.
And he had him by the little nubby tail, and the hippo activated his cloud mechanism, gas cloud mechanism, for defense to obscure the cheetah's vision, and
sense of smell.
I believe the hippo must have had Mexican food for lunch because the cloud came out rather thick when it did, and the look on the cheetah's face was like, "Oh man, my mouth was open. Oh, it's in my mouth."
Yeah, that one right there. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, this other one I came across because I have kind of noticed that there's been a little bit of animosity between Gen Z and they seem to feel like they want to come after Gen X. And I think this gentleman, this millennial, I think he kind of expresses what I think quite a good amount of clarity why they may want to rethink picking on Gen X.
I think we can all agree that if we're generalizing, Gen X is the worst generation.
Okay, if this is happening, if Gen Z is picking a fight with Gen X in the same way that millennials picked fights with boomers, you need to be prepared. Just to give my credentials, I am a cusp millennial, right? I'm one of the first ones, right? Meaning I have a lot of exposure to Gen X. My older brother is Gen X. He is firmly Gen X, and he is fair. The stereotype of Gen X, obviously, is that they don't care. They do not care. Right. And I think on the surface level, you think, okay, well, that's going to be easy. Then, no, there was almost no visual record of Gen X when they were younger, meaning they could do whatever they wanted and not have to worry ever about a video resurfacing as they got older. You combine that with the fact that most of their parents are older boomers who gave them very little parental supervision, and that is a dangerous combination, my friends. The direct result of that is that the Gen X that you're seeing today are the ones that survived. They fear nothing. Millennials, like we were the first ones that had these programs in schools in place telling us that all the dangerous things we saw our older siblings doing were bad. As a result, many of the weak ones of us lived on. I'm a direct proof of that. So all I'm saying is just be careful. They're going to act like they don't care. But so do serial killers. And to any Gen X seeing this, know that I am saying this out of deep respect and also deep fear. Please do not come after me. I'm very sensitive.
I think he provides some excellent points.
He does. He absolutely does. It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Huge difference. All right. I'm a little worried about this next one because I did not have a chance to vet it. So Mike sent me this. He was like, "Oh yeah, we got to throw this in there."
That's
You
good.
did mean for me to play this one, right?
Yes, this is a good one. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Mike's sense of humor is very adult at times. So here we go.
It's vegan because it's strawberry milk and not like cow milk. You know what I mean?
Hey, fucking vegan milk.
Show me the fucking udder on a strawberry. Is this the shit you guys do every Sunday?
Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's more? Okay, hold on. I'll pull it back up. I
You
gotta
gotta turn
play
the
it.
comments up. The comments are the best part. Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll play it again.
It's vegan because it's strawberry milk and not like cow milk. You know what I mean?
Did he say fucking vegan milk?
Show me the fucking udder on a strawberry. Is this the shit you guys do every Sunday?
There you go. Basically. Where you going?
I'm done with fucking internet. I got a shit.
What?
God. Okay. All right. I got a couple of
udder on the strawberry.
show me the udders on the strawberry. So I'm sorry,
That's
go
your
ahead.
Gen X and your Gen Z right there. That's who that is.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of the overlap. That's all we
Gen
use
Z,
the internet for.
Yep. Yep.
All right, I got a few pictures here from stories here from the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. First of all, J6ers wishing they had thought of branding themselves as legal observers.
See, if they had used that,
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know. I know another group of legal observers that are in the news. It says here, legal observers clash with law enforcement at Helm's Deep.
Yep. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I think the nerds of us are going to get that one.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Then finally, Minnesota's begin fleeing to Somalia to escape violence.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, and this one right here, real truth. Tim Walz says he'll do anything to keep Minnesota residents safe, except cooperate with federal law enforcement.
Yeah, that guy's done.
He is done.
Done.
All right, this I missed the very beginning of the football game, the Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. So I missed the national anthem. So the first time I saw this was when Mike sent it to me, and y'all got to watch this. You will love it. Well, if you love this show, I think you will love this. I'm sure Mike and I will both have some commentary on the flip side.
Please stand and remove your hats and honor America with the presentation of our nation's flag.
It's the biggest flag I've ever seen.
Oh, say can you see Babylon's early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ringing, the bombs bursting in the air.
Thank you, Jesus.
Came through
Yeah. Listen, Craig, I haven't watched a football game in 10 years, NFL football game. That right there, watching the players sing, and that was players saying, "Thank you, Jesus." Not a single person even thinking about kneeling down. They're holding their hearts. They're just singing away, and the crowd's all into it. I think I might be watching the Super Bowl this year.
Whoo! See, that's a powerful thing right there. It's hard not to be moved by that. Just once again, for those of you who didn't watch, you got to pull the video up because the players were just so into it. The crowd, one was like, "Amen, amen." I was like, "Whoo!" Yeah, that was one of the most powerful national anthems I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, they might have swung me back. Might have to go out and pick me a team again.
There you go. God bless America.
Yep. And I don't even know who's playing. I don't even know who's playing in the Super Bowl. I have no clue. So
that would be the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, I'll have to see who their players are and that kind of stuff. Take a look at them, and I do like some Belichick and Brady though. So maybe I'll root for them.
Okay, well, no Belichick, no Brady.
What? I mean, I've been gone for a while. Brady retired. He's like 50 years old. That's why he's still playing.
Yeah, no, he's almost like 50. Yeah, no, it's Vrabel and May now. Drake May.
I know Grable. Never heard of May. I know Grable, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, good. It's going to be definitely going to be an interesting game. Anyway, having said all that, we're here at the end of the program. But before we go, we know how we finish it. We always finish it with another quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get on over there, get yourself some AR barrels. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. You can rebarrel your current AR platform or get you a new barrel and start all over again. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines, right? Make sure you get out there with California Republican Assembly and start fighting with them today. If you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, they got it all. Get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
All right, folks, that's going to be it for today's program, but we'll be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.